This is a Emergency Broadcast. Code Red, hold on, Code Red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the Podcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the Podcast.
You are listening to Uncle's Broadcast. My name is Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is someone.
Oh, hello there, people. We're up to 193. I've got to tell you. I've been watching this show. The swords. It's all about the swords.
Uncle, that's nice, but you're not actual Uncle. You're me doing an impersonation of you, which for a while I got accused of from people that you weren't a real person. You're just something like what I was doing now, impersonating you, but you weren't a real person. You're a fake, made-up person, which isn't the truth. Uncle is actually a real person. I'm just taking this opportunity to say that. And he can't do the show tonight. That was me doing a weird impersonation of him. So it's going to be, I don't know what this show is going to be, but you're welcome to join me. The number's the same as always, 319-527-5016. Live every Friday night on Ocelli.com. I want to thank Chuck Ocelli, our producer, for being here tonight, for producing the show. I'm happy to be here.
You know, Aaron, you surprised me there because for about a half a second, I thought we had Uncle, and you had told me before we went to air that Uncle can't make it. And I would not think, normally listening to your very mellow speech tones and stuff, I would not think that you're good with the impressions. And I wouldn't think that you could do Uncle's voice like that. You actually just surprised me a bit there, and it was like,
oh, wow.
If somebody's not real familiar, I bet you they'd be fooled. So nice, very well done. Although I can assure people that yes, indeed, Aaron and Uncle are two different people.
There we go. Thank goodness we've dispelled those rumors.
You know, son-in-law, it's about the voice. It's about the voice. It's why they listen to the show. They want to hear the voice. I got the voice on the show.
So I guess I have the voice when I need to, at least close enough. Close enough is good. So, yeah, impersonations are fun. So I do enjoy them. Maybe I'll have to throw some more. We'll do some weird ones. I'll start working on some other impersonations to throw into the Uncle show later. But, yeah, the phone lines are open tonight. The Skype lines are open. We're just going to have fun. We're going to have a good time. We might talk about some heavy subjects like 9/11 or California wildfires or the 2020 election or anything. It's just wide open. Again, you can call in 319-527-5016. You can Skype in Charles Ocelli. That's Chuck's Skype. Find him there. He'll patch you in. Would love to talk to you tonight or any night, any Friday night that we go live on Ocelli.com. We do have a caller that was with us in the previous hour on the Age of Transition still with us. I'm happy to speak with him right now. We still have Ray down under in Australia. Ray, do you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Ray, all right. Great to have you again. You've called into the Uncle Show before, so Uncle listeners will probably remember you. Do you want to say hello to your millions and millions of adoring fans?
I'm still talking about you should eat when you...
Hello to the Uncle supporters.
Very good.
Get out there with the, what was it, the card mafia? Business card
Wait a
mafia?
minute.
Ah, the street cream.
That's the street cred.
You are a true fan there, Ray. You know, if the street cream, that's an important movement here with this podcast. Anybody can join. Just contact me. I can mail you what they are, business cards, Uncle business cards. And you just take them and you hand them out to people and you say, This is the broadcast you need to be listening to. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Then you're part of the Street Cream. And you can get more creative with it, too. We have Creative Accidents in the chat room now, he's a high-ranking member in the Street Cream. He's like a general. And he's taken upon himself to do some very creative things with promoting the show. So shout out to Creative Accidents and his work there.
You know, just this week, the Ocelli.com bumper sticker got added to the infamous poll there in Texas that has the Uncle sticker, the Age of Transition sticker on it. And also he brought another one. I think I sent him a couple. He brought another one over to the barbershop, the Wall of Fame over on the oldest barbershop in Houston, where you can also see Uncle the podcast, the Age of Transitions. I think Truth Stream Media is on there, a couple other things. But now there's an Ocelli.com. The black bumper sticker that I sent out is also there on the Wall of Fame at the oldest barbershop in Houston. So, yes, big shout out to Creative Accidents. Hey, I got a silly question, Aaron.
Okay.
And I want to know, I want you to be honest with me. Do you do an impression of me? Do you ever do an impression of me to other people? Because now that I know you're capable of it, see, I'm the kind of guy who makes mocking, loose impressions of other people sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't do too many on the air, although everybody who's ever listened to me knows the Donald Trump, you know. But other than that, I don't do a lot of impressions. I'm curious, though, if you're the kind of guy who does impressions of people just in general, and if you have one of me.
I don't, you know what? I don't often do impersonations of people I know. However, I know a few people who do and are very good at that. I wouldn't say that's my specialty. And unfortunately, no, Chuck. I've never attempted to impersonate you. Okay. And I also feel if I tried now, I would fall short. I don't think I'd get it.
No worries. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I was just thinking to myself, it might be logical that if you can, I mean, Uncle, it's a very good impression. So, and again, I never thought of you having that in your repertoire, if you will. I didn't even consider it.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. So I have one of Uncle. Like, I mean, if you have an extreme voice that lends itself to characterization and impersonation, then yeah, some people I can do, but not really that many. I know that John Gold is still in the chat room, so I've got and this is like not an impersonation of a person. It's an impersonation of like a dialect, I guess. It'd be like the guy from Philadelphia. You could keep it simple and just say Wooder. You'd be like, yeah, I got this Wooder over here. I got this Wooder from Wawa. And you just kind of keep going and stuff like that.
Water from Wawa?
Well, Wooder from Wawa.
Okay,
that's basically all you got to do.
It's okay. I'm from Jersey, so it's water from Wawa. But people from Illinois used to crack up when I would say things like coffee.
Yeah, coffee. I got this coffee.
Yeah, because that's the way you guys hear it. To me, it's like I don't understand. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, it's like that. There used to be a Saturday Night Live bit, and it was it's coffee talk, and they would go on and they were like, oh, it's like the Saturday Night Live bit, coffee talk, and I'm like, I just said coffee. I don't understand. What are you talking about? It's a it's a northeastern dialect that's sort of like, but once you go into Philly, it is a different thing. I mean,
it's specific.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay captured the Philly accent when he was doing his stand-up stuff,
Nice.
But the thing is, it's different from New York, and I obviously say New York. You can hear it's a Jersey accent because I didn't say New York. So I've definitely got the dirty Jers sound. And occasionally I catch myself throwing a little bit of Southern dialect too, and that's part of the consideration with doing an impression. But okay, so you don't do one of me. I wanted you to do it if you did, though.
Yeah, I don't have it. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Maybe I'll have to work on that one.
It's cool, but I once caught somebody that I was working with. They didn't know I was going to be on the line actually doing an impression of me, and it was pretty funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It sounded like I don't know, like and it's kind of hilarious because Ray, I got a question for you too. People from Australia, New Zealand, I know I'm not allowed to mix you all together, but I'm gonna. Oceania. Okay, all in that area. That's what I call it. Okay.
Well, that's fair enough. It's kind of the geographical region.
Yeah, it's a geographical region. One thing that's common among Australian, Tasmanian, New Zealander, whatever the proper word is there for Kiwis. The thing is, I've been told by almost all of them over there that I've ever interacted with, and I didn't ask you this question, but a bunch of them have always said, you sound exactly like Alex Jones. Like they literally can't hear the difference between the way I sound and the New World Order's coming now. They can't hear the difference between. That's my Alex Jones. And there is a difference, I think. But I'm wondering, do I sound like Alex Jones to you?
Hell no.
Thank you. Okay. Very cool.
Chuck, I got bad news.
Like Heart Attack Jones.
Yes.
I got bad news entering this conversation. My wife tells me that she believes that you sound like Alex Jones. She has told me that before. We know that where she's from. She's from the States. So I'm sorry. I don't want you to think less of my wife, but I went and I said that. So
maybe she does an impression of me behind my back then. Because I would, if I sound like Alex Jones, first of all, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm not trying to induce panic attacks like that guy. Never. That's never what I do. And I don't try to be, hyperbolic and screaming at the mic. It's not my intent. I have a slightly bawdy sound, I know. I often feel like I sound like, a rock DJ that got lost somewhere. Because, there are Jersey and New York DJs who sound similar to me. And I know that, and I have a buzz in my voice, but mine comes. I don't know how Alex Jones got to be the way he is, voice-wise. Yeah. But, I mean, I literally had a throat injury and then a surgery that caused a permanent buzz to end up in my throat. And it buzzes when I sing, it buzzes when I speak, and I have to forcefully put a stop to it, and it still doesn't quite go away. Oof. And it's, this is my natural speaking voice. This is how I sound if I'm fully awake, period. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So it's not an act. With that guy, though, he used to sound different. I don't know what to say except that we have gravelly voices, and we're certainly, clearly American in our accent, but totally different region. So I don't know. I don't know. Plus, I'm missing more teeth than Alex. There's another thing. But, what can I say? Anyway, I don't want to keep talking about this. I was just curious because of that whole uncle thing. It was like you did so good with that. I was like, is this the kind of guy who, does an accent and does an impression of everybody? Because, you've seen people like that who just, they'll sit there telling you a story and they just break into an impression of whoever's supposed to be speaking.
Yeah.
And they do it for everybody, except usually not right in front of the person.
Yeah, usually not.
Yeah. So I wanted to see if that was you because I was surprised and I was going to call you out. But okay, sorry, my failure. Please continue on with the Uncle Show without Uncle. I just felt that was necessary. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Ray, what's going on there? I know you've got some thoughts there. Yeah, maybe you have an impersonation that you have for us. We'd like to hear.
It's not a tumor.
There we go. Nice. Arnold's a classic. He's a fun one.
The Governator.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he want to build a wall?
Who the hell knows? I can't understand the guy. His accent is so thick. It always has been.
Yeah.
I have trouble understanding.
He didn't have the citizenship to get president, eh?
Well, technically speaking, he should not be qualified to, but, the Simpsons have predicted stranger things than that, and they did predict that he would be president at one point. So, I don't know. And what was that? Demolition Man, too, right? The movie Demolition Man? Didn't they say that...
Only he had those batons.
Yeah, that's the movie with the batons, but didn't they say, it's the President Schwarzenegger Library?
Yes.
And, it was kind of like a meta humor thing because it's Sylvester Stallone in the movie, duh.
Yeah.
But
that was Rob Schneider that said that, I think.
Oh, Rob Schneider. The hot chick. That's just... we're aware that Rob Schneider has become sort of like a MAGA, far right-wing, almost Twitter guy posting these right-wing things. You know that, right, Ray?
Don't actually have Twitter on my phone. I don't really look at it either.
He's quite the political celebrity pundit, whatever you call that thing these days, which is very odd and interesting, but hey.
So he's doing the big stand thing?
He's just, take a right-wing talking point. He just is constantly throwing it out there, on Twitter and just generally in public. So that's what he's been doing these days. Is I want to say he spends a lot of his time doing that now. I don't know if the Hot Chick 2 is in production.
Yeah, I don't think Deuce Bigelow 3 is in demand at the moment.
Chuck, well, we're goofing on him now. Chuck, you know of Rob Schneider's right wing propaganda, don't you?
Unfortunately, he's only really truly overshadowed by James Woods.
Oh, God.
Who is just, look, if that guy didn't make your skin crawl before, curious aside thing, there's something about him that's just completely demented. He played Roy Cohn. A lot of people don't believe me about this, but look it up. He played Roy Cohn in an HBO movie a long time ago, where Ray Cohn is being faced with the ghosts of all the people he screwed over and put to death and everything else, and while he's laying in a bed dying of AIDS, because of course that's what happened to Roy Cohn, right?
Okay.
So, but James Woods played the role, and even that, as greasy as it was, and as really, it should have been super controversial because that's almost just post AIDS panic time period when he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And people were covering up. Rock Hudson died of AIDS. It was the big shocker and all that.
Yeah.
But no, he actually did. He played Roy Cohn in a movie, and he oh God, who did he play in? Every character this guy plays, guaranteed, is greasy and messed up. Even when he was in Oliver Stone's Salvador, right? He's supposed to be the protagonist in the movie, and really, quite honestly, you don't want the death squad to get his girlfriend, but maybe him. He's just, literally a despicable human being. He just projects, and if that's an act, oh, my God, he deserves awards because he just reads as despicable. It just pours off of the screen, any screen you see him on. And that's not the only Oliver Stone movie it was in either. He played, good God, who else did he play? I think he reprised Roy Cohn again in some other movie, but.
Really? More than once? That's insane.
Well, I'm thinking he was in the movie Nixon, and I can't remember what role he played. I'm drawing a little blank. Look, I'm a little off my game tonight, so you got to excuse me. Right. But the thing is, no, I know he's in several Oliver Stone movies, and every time this guy shows up, whether it's on Twitter or in a movie or a TV show, or even when he shows up to be a voice on Family Guy or The Simpsons. If you don't feel a queasy greasy in your belly every time this sucker shows up, I don't know what you're doing. Just there's something about him that's just
he's kind of he's got a similar vibe to Christopher Walken, but Christopher Walken's kind of lovable at the same time, where James Woods just isn't.
Yeah, see, I could fall asleep in a house with Christopher Walken. I would not. I'd sleep with my eyes open with James Woods. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Walken.
Yeah, but Chris Walken wouldn't be on so many drugs that he'd be awake all the time that you're there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It would be like hanging out with William Dafoe. Maybe 3 William Dafoes is equal to 1 James Woods. Seriously, William Dafoe is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
And he's got that creepy, odd sort of I don't even know what to get. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm telling you it's real.
Got it. Yeah. No, he's weird, all right. And yeah, you're right. He was even weird on The Simpsons. I feel like they played that up on that old Simpsons episode. It was like, "Hi, I'm James Woods." It's just like, what? James Woods? It's like it was really weird the way they portrayed him on that. But I don't know. Maybe
on Family Guy, they've killed him several times. He comes back to life. He's stolen somebody's identity. He's harassed people. And done all kinds of like bizarre stuff where he like steals Peter's identity and takes over the house, right? And they lock him in a box, and they do the Raiders in the Lost Ark, call back where, we're going to stick him in a box and he's being examined by top men and he goes into a warehouse, with a million boxes, right? And they have to do that to him a couple times. And then in their take up of, and then there were none, I think it was, they kill him again. And I think he stays dead. I can't remember though. But he's like being resurrected by the blood of an ingenue who's had their life essence sucked out of them so that he may continue to live in a Family Guy episode. Again, don't believe me, look it up. Seriously, like everybody knows that there is just something soulless and strange about this man, and he's like, I don't know, Sean Hannity on steroids on Twitter. It's just very weird. Very
weird. It's bizarre his postings. He's just nonstop with that stuff. Yeah, Rob Schneider hasn't made it to James Woods' level with that yet, but he does his part, no doubt about it.
No, he's working on it. I mean, look, he's not as highly paid as James Woods once was. He's not. Again, Deuce Bigelow compared to, okay, sorry, and you can do it. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, yeah. Rob Schneider, file him under. How in the world did he get famous? He's one of those guys.
Right.
How did this happen? What were we thinking?
Wasn't his daddy famous too?
He was what? I'm sorry?
Wasn't his dad famous too?
Oh, probably. That's probably how it happened then. He's probably one of these families that he just part of the family. He's like, oh, little Robbie's in a show now. We got him on Saturday Night Live. I talked to Lauren and he was able to get him on the cast and just went from there.
And then he palled along with, Adam Sandler when people thought he was funny. And
So you also have a disdain for Adam Sandler, as I do, Chuck.
Yeah, there's some material that's interesting, but I boil it down to something he did on a comedy album years ago where he did that, they're all going to laugh at you nonsense, repeatedly over and over again. Yeah. His big hit he had there, the Thanksgiving song, and the Hanukkah song. And
Hanukkah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, come on, Chuck, the savage beatings of whichever fucking... Oh, excuse me.
Happens.
It's okay.
The savage beings of high school janitor, school teacher in Adam Sandler's album.
Oh yeah, well they
were kind of funny.
There's that, and the guy who looked up his own rectum with a mirror and it blew his mind. I mean, look, those are funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
But the problem with him, much like his career, is that it goes on far too long.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And now I don't understand it. It's just people are begging to give him different deals to keep appearing in things, and you wonder exactly which demonic entity sold his soul to, because it's just. I mean, if you ever saw that movie,
Chuck.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Chuck. He's got enough money to produce his own movies.
Oh, he does do that now. He does produce.
Yeah, he is doing that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pickles was a half decent movie. It wasn't fantastic, but it was half decent.
Which one?
It was entertaining.
Which one?
Pixels.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I thought that was kind of a sad premise. I mean, realistically, okay, we gotta get the kids who could play the arcade games to fight the pixelated invaders. I mean,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I never watched that. I remember that coming out. Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed one of my favorite performances of him was in the Paul Thomas Anderson Punch Drunk Love, that movie, because I felt like that was him. I felt like he wasn't so much acting as I felt like that might be like the real kind of version of himself when he's not forced to be a comedian being funny. I feel like he would actually be like that character was. Because he kind of like puts elements of what that character had going on into even like his comedy. He's always like in super frustrated and like he's quick to anger and getting in fights with people and stuff. And like that's kind of what that character had, like serious anger management issues. Another Adam Sandler movie. It's just that's a running theme with him is anger management issues. And
literally
like,
being in a movie called Anger Management, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, with Nicholson. That was the one with Nicholson.
And
I was going to state Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, no, Happy Gilmore is a classic. And that is a good. I'm sorry, it's a silly movie, but it's
very silly.
It's pretty.
It's
good.
one of Adam's best.
It is, absolutely. See, and this is much in the spirit of the Uncle Show, despite the fact that Uncle's not here discussing movies. So I don't know if Uncle's seen all these, but I think
I'm
he would
sure.
be
I
pleased.
guarantee you he's seen these. Yes, I'm sure he's seen all those movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but
if only it could have stopped at Happy Gilmore, and then Adam Sandler could have just gone and out of the limelight. Just retired from showbiz at that point, but it didn't end up that way.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm sure while we were talking, 4 more direct-to-Netflix movies dropped by Adam Sandler, just during this hour alone. So, it is... You got to give him that he's got volume on a lot of other comedic actors. That's for sure. Continues to put stuff out. You guys ever see the movie Click? By the way, this is the last Sandler discussion I'm going to try to have.
I don't know what that even is.
He gets a remote control, a magic remote control, right?
Oh God.
You don't remember this?
It sounds vaguely familiar now that you bring up the remote control. I did not see it.
So he fast forwards through, the boring parts of his life so he can just enjoy, and he kind of goes on autopilot with this magic TV remote.
Interesting.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Anyway, so he does that, and he screws up at one point and is on autopilot so much that he, loses his family and loses everything except his job. That worked out okay, and he ends up being like a fat guy, and he's just about ready to die. And then he meets the guy who gave him the remote, and he says, well, you can, one time you can rewind it all and go back. So, now I've just spoiled it, but, it's... And the thing is, the comic beats are totally deftone. They're just not very good. And it's almost like a dramatic movie, even though it was meant to be a comedy with a serious message, which is always a recipe for disaster. But
yes.
I mean, ask Robin Williams.
Ask Robin Williams.
I'm sorry, what, Ray?
Sounds like a movie where you can guess the punchline for every joke.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, of course he's fat now. Of course he's gonna have a heart attack. And be upset.
He lost the wife, he lost the kids. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we've seen this one. Yeah,
it's like all the beats are there and predictable, and so there you go. But Happy Gilmore was still like in the days of it was still fresh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Yes, even that movie I'm not wild about, but yeah, at least it was something new and different, and Adam Sandler is doing his little thing, and it just kept on going. It was a thing that just kept going, and
it continues to keep on going.
It does. It does. Adam Sandler is one of my celebrity sightings. I did mention this came up on one of the shows. How when you live in California, you just see a ton of celebrities. So he's one that I've seen. I don't know. I'm not proud of saying that. I'm just throwing that in there. Is that you see these weird people out here in California. He's one of them that we ran into once. Yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite celebrity sighting of all time, let me tell you, but he's on the list.
Which one's your favorite, Aaron?
Definitely the biggest star I've ever seen might be my favorite. I've got different. for now, for all intents and purposes, I'll say this is my favorite because it's the biggest star. Is I saw Spielberg at the E3 conference one time. And the only reason I saw him is because I saw first his two gigantic bodyguards. These two massive men. I was like, wearing suits. I'm like, who are these guys? Like, who are these giants in here? And then I saw in between them Steven Spielberg. He's walking around. He was out on the floor watching people, do their thing. And I was with a video crew. We were shooting videos and stuff. And so he's just walking through. And so that was definitely probably the biggest celebrity that I've seen like that. So I'll say it's my favorite. I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Ray? Do you see many celebrities in Australia?
Not really.
No?
No. In fact, the last celebrity I think I've seen would be way back in the 90s, and it would have been Nathan Cavalieri.
Who is that?
Child guitarist prodigy at that time.
Oh, cool. Nice.
He was also in a movie. The name of the movie escapes me at this point. Yeah, some teen coming-of-age movie he was in.
All right, cool. Did he play the guitar in the movie? I'm assuming he must have at some point. Okay. Well, that's good.
Creative Accidents sent me a private message, and I am going to probably have difficulty finding it, but turns out that he says that Uncle has done an impression of me and Pierce. At some point.
Oh, okay. So at some point, Uncle was impersonating you, and he was impersonating Porkins?
Apparently, and I really have... did I miss something? I don't know.
Have you got the file?
He says
it sounds
there's a
familiar.
link.
It sounds familiar now that you mention it. I can't remember at all what it sounded like, but that does seem right now that you mention it. Oh, he says, so he sent you an audio clip? He has the audio clip that he sent to you. Is that correct?
Look, if you... Creative Accidents, okay, I don't normally talk to one listener, but do me a favor, drop it if you can. Drop it in. If you have an actual audio file, drop it in the Skype chat, and I'll grab it and play it right now. Because I can do that if you have an audio file ready. If not, I'll try and grab it from wherever it is, but... I would love to hear this because I don't remember.
Creative Accidents. Do it.
Yeah, that would be good. I feel like I remember Uncle doing various different impersonations over the span of the show. None of them are clear to me now as I'm thinking of it, but I do recall him he'll at some point he'll start talking as if he is a person, and it's always fun, I know, when he does it, but I can't remember what any of them sound like. I don't know how accurate they get, but it's one of those things where it really doesn't need to be accurate to be very good. Okay, apparently Creative Accidents has it. So, okay, Chuck is hard at work finding that clip, I'm sure. And yeah, Ray, you should come out to Los Angeles one time for a trip, and if you do, I can tell you certain spots, or if you hang out there, you're going to see somebody who's famous, probably. If you spend enough time. I feel like a lot of people come out here to do that, which isn't what I'd really recommend to do, but here I am recommending something that I shouldn't be. Does it sound like a good idea or what, Ray?
Well, to tell you the truth, Aaron, if I did go to California, I don't even have a passport, but if I did, I'd probably visit you guys.
Oh, cool. Awesome. We could take you out to Joshua Tree, maybe. We'd show you the natural wonders out there. That's what you really want to see.
As long as we can break a telescope out.
Absolutely. Do a camping trip. Yeah, that would be better than going in. Oh, man. I always tell people, I try to tell people about Los Angeles and just like the weird vibe you get when you go there. But you can't really even explain it until you go. Just I would say it's worth walking around in like Hollywood just to see not the celebrities, but the quote unquote regular people, and see like what they're up to. And it's just so bizarre. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, a great example of that actually is that if you go by where they have, the stars on the boulevard there.
Hollywood Boulevard.
You go to Hollywood Boulevard, and there are people walking around that are dressed up in superhero costumes, and they're not superheroes or affiliated with anything. They're just there. And a lot of them are really bad-looking costumes. Some of them are good. But a lot of them are really bad. Like there's, a Spider-Man who like washed his, Spider-Man outfit in the wrong color at some point, doesn't care, stuff like that. And, a guy with like, say bat wings on and like a pseudo like conglomeration of Batman type looking stuff on, but it's not really Batman. And they will charge you to take a picture with them.
Oh, yeah. Do not try to take a picture of them unless you're going to pay them, or there will be trouble.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there is going to be trouble in there.
That's a hell of a lot of dedication.
Yeah, and they're just out there hanging out, like, just...
Uncle's personal favorite is the guy who does an impersonation of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. Uncle really... We were walking down there, and Uncle really got amped up when he saw Johnny Depp. He's like, there's Johnny! So it was very he was excited to see Johnny Depp, and it was fun. So
nice.
That was pretty good.
Nice.
I will say that what was that, Ray? I'm sorry.
Johnny Depp's an Aussie.
Oh yeah, you know what?
You forget that.
I do forget that. I always forget that. Goodness gracious, yeah.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, and then he was in like that Tom Petty music video early on in the career, that Rebel Without a Clue. And
he's a method actor. So when you see him in Pirates of the Caribbean and he acts drunk, he ain't acting.
Oh, he's actually drunk. Okay. He demands, it's in his contract that he must be completely drunk on the set.
No, he's a method actor.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, just let him do what he does.
That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody telling Johnny Depp no in the first place on set like that. So, I mean...
Well, knowing that, now think about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Yikes.
That's a good one. That's Terry Gilliam right there. I think a lot of people forget that that's Terry Gilliam that did that film. So I really enjoyed Terry Gilliam's films, and that one included. That's a good one. So it's a classic.
It was an eye-opener for me.
How's that? What do you mean by that, Ray?
Well, just the way it was laid out. He's a sports writer for a company he has no concern for.
Yeah.
He has his own bloody, doctor/lawyer?
Yeah, the Benicio del Toro character. Yeah. Too weird to live and too rare to die, something like that. He says about him.
That's actually a good analogy for it. Yeah.
That's one of his lines that Johnny Depp says about him. He's like, he's too weird to live and too rare to die, something like that. It's really funny.
I
believe those. Oh yeah. Hunter S. Thompson. I mean, yeah.
All right, so I have this clip here.
Okay. Nice.
Now, what I got to do is see if I can bring it up to the correct time, because he's telling me it's at 4:05 into the show, and the funny thing is that you and Ray, Aaron, will not be able to hear this. I can hear it. The audience can hear it.
Okay.
But you know what it is? We got this little issue with the playback on the music.
Got it.
But let's see if I can bring this to. Let's see. I got to bring it to 51. Got to bring it to. See, I got to work in reverse here because that's the way my stuff is set up. So I got to go at 4:08 apparently, which would bring me to 5120. Okay. Well, let's bring it back a little bit. All right, I'm going to try and play this clip and see if it's there, Aaron. And
all right,
if you want, I'll kill the mic, and then nobody will hear you. If you want to go ahead and turn on a player and take a listen to it, you'll hear a minor delay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I might go ahead and do that. Actually, I'll play your player on your website. I'm just going to go ahead and turn my mic off now and play the player on the website.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. And Ray, I'm going to cut the mic and start to play the clip a little early. It's Uncle the Podcast, and the name of the episode is Time Traveling Podcasters from another something. And anyway, Creative Accidents, I'm sure will tell everybody in the chat room exactly what the episode is. Anyway, this is the clip, and I'm going to play it now, and we'll be right back.
The one with what's his name that he just started to get on Pierce's show.
Okay.
I listened to it a little bit.
You did
on the train.
Okay.
Now, when I was driving back and forth, I put my earplugs in and I was listening to shows that he was listening to, and he came up with some conversations on his show about that, and he was.
What were the topics that you were listening to on that show? What came up? Do you remember?
The one option, the man was talking about some kind of government. Of course, these guys, they talk about government work. Every single one of them.
What guys?
I mean, Charcom. And
Pierce?
And Pierce. Them two get together, seem like, talk about the government a lot.
Oh, were you listening to a show where it was both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them on.
Got it.
And they were both talking at each other. Oh, I'm going to listen. This is our second hour. Here on the first hour, I've got a special guest for the second hour. And he was going back and forth, and I was like, oh, I'm going to stop for a minute and just get back on that. And so I turned it back on and said, no, he's back on again. That's...
A lot of government talk.
Government talk. These guys talk government. I mean, it was a conversation, have a good talk. But this is what talk about government. These guys are like, what's his name? What's that other guy's name of yours?
Tom Sucker.
Tom Sucker. Now, them all three, I'm telling you, all three of them should be back on. We should push Tom Sucker on his broadcast. I mean, them three would get together, would be making more complication of talking government to every one of them guys. Yeah. I was thinking of asking him, could they get him on that show?
We should have Tom back on. The thing again with Thomas, he's in that time zone too, where he's in the UK, so it causes problems for the live show.
Well,
see,
we can do this like this if we can get him.
Yeah,
to talk like what we're doing right now. We're recording it.
Might have to.
And then he can get back with Chuckacelli, or you can get back with him, and record it back. I mean, here we're doing this tonight. They're doing this to get him back to him to do this. Just to hear my voice is what this guy wants to hear.
That's the process, yeah.
He wants to hear my voice, and we have to do it this way. There's no other way to do it, like you said.
There's no
timing
option.
You can't do it live, and you have all these...
It just doesn't work out, the timing.
Your time is wrong.
I needed to have Daryl on the show, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to have him as a guest, and I'm really glad to have him, and it's going to be... As we record this show now, I have yet to record the show with Daryl. I'll say that.
Yours?
Yeah, we're recording.
All right, so we are back to live. I think that's the entire clip there. It was real brief.
Yeah,
it was real brief, and I think Uncle was talking about how I do my my talk ups in and out. Like in the next hour we're gonna do this, and then it's me and Pierce are on. I didn't hear an impression of Pierce. I didn't think. I mean, maybe I need to play more of that. I'm not sure, but I think I got the time right. Creative Accidents will advise me because that's the sharp listener who even knew this. Now, of course, I didn't listen to this show exactly all the way through because it was a pre-record. So I probably walked away and plugged in this show and didn't even hear it. But he was kind of like, yeah, these guys talk government all the time. That's it, you know. And see, I am one of those guys who does impressions. Anyway,
there it is.
So there it is. Anyway,
I got blacklisted from my family, from my father's side family dues for stating, if you truly believe that voting counts, take a pen.
Take a pen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you only get pencils in the voting booth.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Permanent ink, you were saying. Yes,
okay. I was confused there, too. Like
that more or less got me blacklisted. And when I was questioned, I said, well, you can't sign a contract with a fucking pencil.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Can't do it.
Well, you can, but it's not fucking legal. Sorry.
No, it's not. That's true.
That is a very good point. You know, I never thought of that. They're usually electronic booths these days. You just press a button and it's like, oh, press this button. Here we go.
Don't say
another question to ponder.
Well, don't say usually because, you know, as we well know, throughout the United States, there is no consistent system. Every state to state has options. And you still have push cards. You still have digital screens. You still have every kind of. You think about it, it exists somewhere in the U.S. So you know, yeah, there are pencils in some places, and there are computers.
We still have paper ballots in Australia.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to most people, considering it's a vote, you can vote. Well, if there's a vote. Well, it's like, how many people vote for this idea? How many against? Is it for and against? You can actually do that on the ballot paper.
Oh, well, we have referendums here as well, where there are propositions on the ballot. It's not just people. But, you know, there's a whole process to getting them on the ballot, and you can... Do we want to make this legal in our city, state, or whatever? And, you know, up, down, yes, no. But, you know, you think about how much choice you actually have. It's not as though you can order off the menu. That's the key here. You know, they give you a menu when you go in the restaurant because that reflects what they have in the kitchen. And guess what?
Yeah,
that's your limited choices. I tend to
strike through the names on that menu.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. But anyway, so... Did you have another one of those kind of points? Because believe it or not, we are down to I think the last 8 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're nearly there now. It's pretty not so bad, huh? That was exciting.
It's not quite an uncle show, though, is it?
Well, it can't be. Obviously, we don't have uncles, so we're just making do. The next best thing we have is to do impersonation of him, which is not the same, but we're just
Maybe
broadcasting, doing the broadcast thing. Yeah. I did not. Uncle just kind of fell ill tonight. I did not expect that. It came out of nowhere. So here we are. But he should be back. Better. What was that?
I hope he feels better.
Yeah. I'll let him know. I'll let him know that you send your regards for sure. I think he might be. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I'll have to ask him if he's not asleep already.
Who knows?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I feel like if he started listening, he'd have a hard time to not be jumping in here and trying to say something. So he's probably watching a sword show right now. That'd be my best guess.
Or that Turkish series.
Resurrection Heir to Grohl.
I'm yet to start watching it.
Oh, you got to. And then call in with your thoughts next week.
I might have to do it when I hang up here.
Yeah. You know, it's in the middle of the day over there on Saturday, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so there you go. It's 12 hours ahead from where I am. So, yeah. So it's like...
technically, I'm in the future.
There you are. He's already on tomorrow morning. I haven't gotten to midnight just yet.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, gosh, it's so late back there. I always have to remember that. Yeah, it's quite early here. It's not even 9 yet. So,
yeah, my job circumstance. Well, I'm a logistics engineer for the dairy industry.
No.
Otherwise, known as a milkman.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So
Logistics.
I start really early.
Hey,
Oh, you got to wake up super early. Gotcha. Yeah.
Since you're in the milk industry in another country, I got a question for you. Is your milk loaded with as much crap as American milk? You know, steroids and everything else? Because I got to tell you, most dairy products in the U.S. I can no longer consume unless I get them raw from a farm. So, curious, you guys got steroids and pasteurization that cooks down all kinds of crap into your milk too, or is it better quality?
It's the milk is homogenized and pasteurized.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it is heated and cooked and all that. But,
to do with hormones, I have no clue whether or not.
All right, fair enough. I was just curious.
I'm lactose intolerant. Drink it anyway.
Oh, there you go. The milkman is lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Ray, I have another quick Australia question. Have you seen or are you personally aware of the problem they're having with serious cacti down there? I know it's an invasive species brought over from North America here, I believe, and the cacti are just everywhere, taking over in Australia. Have you seen any of them around? Do you have any info on that?
You're the first one that's bringing it to my knowledge.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really bad. Like, birds will get, because they fruit. It's a fruiting cactus. Birds will eat the fruit, and then their droppings will fall, and then that will plant a new cactus, and they're just getting everywhere, and they can't kill them fast enough. So, and they're a very invasive species, which is sad because I'm a lover of cacti personally.
This has been brought to Australia. Let's see. I can name 3 off the bat: cane toads, foxes, rabbits.
Oh, okay. That sounds like trouble right there. Yeah, it's weird. I remember, again, to The Simpsons again, they did that episode about Australia, and they couldn't help but mention the invasive species down there. I don't know if it's because you have a particular problem with them, but it seems that way from...
Yeah, and then they take a koala back to America.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but this is ostensibly the end of the show here. Ray, we're going to say goodbye, but thank you again. Bye for the second time. But before we go, just anything you want to say to the audience before we get going here?
I'm going to do a Bill and Ted sign-off. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Nice. I like it. That's very apropos with the sequel out now. All right, Ray, take care now. We'll talk to you next time.
So Aaron, you would normally be pressuring Uncle to do the shout-outs right about now, and you're all by yourself, so...
Shout-outs. Okay, shout-outs to Pure Blades. I think they're open back up at the Tyler Galleria, so it's all about the swords there. Shout-out to Uncle, because he can't be here tonight, but he will be back next week, so shout-out to Uncle. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now. It's we'll be back next week. I was happy to be here tonight, though. It was a fun, sort of different kind of way to do the show. So I had fun. Oh, and then, yeah, I'm expecting Uncle to talk or something here. I actually have to end the show. We do the website for Uncle the Podcast is unclethepodcast.com. We have our Instagram, and our Twitter is at Uncle Podcast. And of course, we're live here on Ocelli.com every Friday night. So help support Chuck on Ocelli.com.
Which I do appreciate. Really quickly, I have a quick question. Anything about the Name That Tune? Have you been doing those lately? Also, want to tell listeners to the Uncle Show that if you send me a mailing address, I will send you a bumper sticker. It's just that simple at this point in time, especially if you're a supporter of the show. I'll make it a priority. But anybody supporting the network, I was only going to do it till September 11th, but I still got plenty of bumper stickers. So I'll extend it through the rest of the month for those that actually listen. And, so if you do that and give a little love over to the network, I will definitely send you a bumper sticker if you give me an address to send it to. And don't assume that I save your addresses. You'll have to give me a new one if you make a new donation, because I try not to collect everybody's information, actually. And so I just wanted to throw that in, Aaron. Appreciate you letting me do that. But since you decided to throw a plug in for the network, I figured I'd mention it because I hadn't said it on your show yet, I think. Maybe I have, and if I did, oh well, sorry. Anyway, so that's about it. I'm sure you want to shout out to the Street Cream, of course, Creative Accidents. How about we give a couple to the chat room, too? How about the guy that's all Z's and Lucum and John Gold, who was in the chat room tonight? Of course, especially, again, to Creative Accidents for giving us that piece where we got to find out that Uncle actually did an impression of me. It's real brief, but it's there. You were correct, Creative Accidents. And maybe, I'll get into them where maybe you want to do an impression of Uncle giving the end of the show here, Aaron, because you know how he does that and gets frustrated with that, can't hear.
Oh, yeah. I was planning on it, actually. Yeah, so I'll do that. And then I do have some shout outs for the Name That Tune game. I'll redo them next week for the actual Uncle show. But quickly, it's Scott and it's Melissa. So Scott Healy from American Steel, and also Melissa, our friend in St. Pete, deserves a special mention there. So we will talk about that more next week. And Guy, who is an uncle, bring us home.
Well, it's about it. Put that music. Music. Can't hear the music over here. I don't hear that music. Chuck needs to fix the music. I can't hear it over here.